Okay, so hi, my name is Mr. Abramov. I am your Ivy Tech instructor for MATH200 statistics, and here I will um, just show the introduction of the course, just talk through um, the requirements, the deadlines, and things like that. Okay, and to do that, I will share my screen. Okay, so at this point, you should be able to see the screen. It's a regular home page. So first of all, I am going to go through a few important things in the syllabus. So hopefully everyone read the syllabus, but just in case. So the most important things that we need to discuss are, of course, the type of assignments that we have and the due dates. So I'm going to scroll down here and okay, so let's talk about the assignments. We have homework assignments. Every chapter has a homework assignment, and the homework assignment, all of my homework assignments are set up to be due Sunday on the week of the module. So right now this is the first week. We're in module 1. So there are 2 chapter assignments with chapters 1 and 2. Both of the assignments are due Sunday. That way, I think it's easy to remember when the assignments are always due. In fact, most of the things that you have to submit, most of the things, the due dates is a Sunday, but there are some exceptions, so please be careful. Now, you are allowed to submit late assignments, late homework, but there is a 2% per day penalty for the homework that's submitted past the due date. So if you did not submit your homework on Sunday, but you submitted on Monday, you unfortunately will suffer a 2% penalty from your original score. Also, your homework assignments will be open throughout the midterm. So the assignments for chapters 1 through 7, which is up until module 5, will stay open until the midterm, and you can submit any of them at any point, but of course, if they're submitted late, with a penalty. And then the future assignments for the second half of the course, 8 through 12, will be open until the final exam on May 12th. Once you are past that threshold, no assignments can be submitted. So the midterm day, which I think, if I remember correctly, set up as April 15th to be the last day to submit assignments 1 through 7, for chapters 1 through 7. Now, also, there are no limits on how many times you can try the homework assignment. So you could get perfect scores on all of your homework assignments. In case you don't do very well on the first try, you can try them many, many times, and you can get a perfect score on each one of them. Also, the assignments use StatCrunch software. You should be able to access that software, and that's where you will do most of the calculations. Your lesson videos generally talk through how to use StatCrunch for particular questions, but if you run into any problems, you can always ask me for some assistance, or you can also Google how to do a particular thing in StatCrunch, and usually there will be some kind of a video that you can find. In fact, I sometimes have to do this because sometimes I forget how to use some StatCrunch functions. Then, besides your homework assignments, which you definitely should be doing as a good practice, and besides the points, you have quizzes. Now, quizzes are a little bit more strict. There is a quiz for every chapter, just like with a homework assignment. And all of the quizzes are also due Sundays, just like the homework assignment. But and they also open until the midterm for the first half of the course, and then until the final, the second half of the course. So just like the homework assignments. However, number one, they are timed. You have 60 minutes from the starting to complete the quiz, and you have only 2 attempts on the quiz. So there are no unlimited attempts. You take 2 attempts, and in order to get the 2 attempts, you must earn 80% or more on the homework for each chapter. So if you don't do the homework, or if you did the homework but you earned less than 80% on your homework, you do not get the second attempt on the quiz. Finally, when you do 2 attempts, the highest score will be counted for your quiz. So if you don't do very well and you do have a second attempt, there is no risk of you using that second attempt, because you will get the highest out of the 2 scores. Also, please notice that the penalty for the quiz, for the late submission on the quiz, is 20%. So if you don't do your quizzes by Sunday and you do them, let's say, on Monday, you will get only, you will be deducted 20% of your original score. Then, before we get to proctored exams, I'm going to skip a little bit and discuss 2 other things. We also have discussions, and I already noticed that some of you have been posting in discussions for the first one, where it was an introduction. So keep in mind that discussions have slightly different due dates. Your discussions, you have to submit the first post, which is your answer to the discussion question, and then you have to answer at least 2 discussion posts of your classmates. So the first discussion post is always due Wednesday. So that is the deadline for the first discussion post. Everyone has to submit the first post by Wednesday. Otherwise, if it's submitted later, you will be deducted some points based on the rubric. And your other 2 discussion posts, the ones that you have to, where you have to respond to your classmates, those are due Sunday, just like all of the assignments. Also, unlike assignments, you cannot have late submissions on discussion. I set up my discussion posts that they will close on Sunday at midnight, and you cannot access them at all. So there is no leeway on that. Also, you will have 2 projects throughout the semester, and these projects, as one project for the first term of the course, and the second project for the second term. And please notice that these projects are due in module 3 and module 7, respectively. The due dates are set up, and you can see them on your calendar, that your project 1 is due April 7th. Please don't procrastinate with starting on the project. Don't start doing it a night before a project. It's a pretty involved thing. You have to type out a paper with some calculations and such, and follow the rubric. So please work on the project throughout the few weeks of the course. So module 3 means it's the 3rd week of the course. So already now, if you go to modules, you can see that already now in modules there is a project preparation. So please look at this to see what's expected. You might not know how to do some of the things in the project yet, so I don't expect you to have it finished right now, of course, but please at least to look at the project to see what is expected, and then you should know the information that is required for you to complete the project by module 2 or 3, depending on how you work. So, and please notice the project 1 is the due date is April 7th, and that is due to in module 3. Similarly, same thing will be for project number 2. Also, but that's already in quite many weeks from now. Finally, very important, proctored exams. You have a midterm and you have a final exam. Those have to be scheduled. You can schedule them to be either online, and you can take those since it's an online course, or you can schedule those to be taken at the testing facility, depending if you whether you have a testing facility near you or not. Please don't procrastinate. Schedule your exams as soon as possible so you can pick the time that is comfortable for you. If you procrastinate, some of the times during which you are available, the most popular times, of course, like weekends or evening proctorings could be taken, and then you have to work around the times that are available. Also, if you run into any problems with the scheduling, if something goes wrong, if you start early, then it's much easier to resolve those problems with a lot of time in advance rather than in the last second. If I'm not mistaken, I am closing down the ability to schedule the exam by 6 o'clock, in the evening on the last day of the exam. So the due date to take your midterm, if I'm not mistaken, is April 15th. You can look it up here. Chapter 7. Yeah, midterm exam, April 15th is the deadline. So you can take your midterm exam really at any point starting right now. You can schedule it at any point, and it is open to be taken at any point until April 15th. April 15th on midnight, midterm exam closes, you will not be able to take it at all. And you cannot schedule your exam past 6 p.m. on April 15th. So that is the last time you can schedule the exam. So please schedule those as soon as possible. You will have a similar situation with the final exam, and the deadline for the final exam is May 12th, which is the last day of our course. Okay, please read, sorry about this, please read the information about the midterm exam in the syllabus, what is required of you. You notice that the exam is timed. You have 2 hours to take the exam, and you will be required to have some kind of ID to show to the proctor and things like that. So on the exam, you will be allowed to use a calculator. You will be allowed to use StatCrunch. You'll be allowed to use the Excel that's embedded into the software that which is basically the same software that you do your homework and quizzes on. Okay, so this is the assignments that you are supposed to do during the course. Before I move on to a few other things, are there any questions? And you can write the questions in the chat and I will answer them, of course. So I'm going to wait for just a little bit to see if there's anything there. Okay, well, I will continue then. And if once again, if there are questions, please type them into the chat and such. Okay, so here you have your point distribution. Clearly, it's pretty self-explanatory. Discussions, they say that worth 25 points, but notice they're only 5% of the grade. So please be aware of that. Your homework and quizzes, 15%, 20%. So you can see all of this over here. Of course, midterm and final exams, they are very heavily weighted. So please study for those. Remember, you are not allowed to use any notes or anything like that when you take the exams. So please study for those before you take them. Okay. So this is for the most part, most important things. I have the condensed version of that in the announcement, in the welcoming announcement with the due dates and things like that. So one more thing that I would like to talk about is a communication plan. I do not host regular scheduled office hours anymore because students were not showing up at those, and I decided that what's convenient for me might not be convenient for many other people. So instead, in a communication plan, it states that if you have questions, you can make an appointment with me. And to do that, you just need to email me to my Ivy Tech email, and then we can work out the time that will work for both of us. Please do email with maybe 24 hours in advance. Don't expect to see a response right away. I'm during the day I teach, so I sometimes not be able to see the IB Tech email until later in the day. So please allow 24-hour window for scheduling scheduling some kind of a meeting, and then we'll work it out. When you do ask for the appointment, please write down your availability. That will also be helpful. So I already have something to work off. Evenings will of course be much more convenient for me. Once again, I do teach during the day. So maybe write down some suggestions, some availabilities on the days and the times when it works the best for you, and then we can go from there. Okay, and I do have a question in the chat. So let me see. The course resources for the midterm, do I print them and bring them with me, or will they be handy? Okay, so very good question. So for the midterm, the resources. The only resource that you are allowed for the midterm is a formula sheet. The formula sheet is there's a PDF version that will be of the formula sheet that will be attached to the midterm, and you can, if you look at the midterm preparation, I think it shows what the formula sheet looks like. Let me scroll through this and look at this really quickly. So midterm exam. Actually, no, we need to go to the previous one. Okay, yeah. So if you so here there's instructions about the midterm and in the course resources. It talks about the formula sheet. Yeah, so there's a formula sheet, the PDF of the formula sheet in the course resources. So the PDF version of that formula sheet will be attached as a in the midterm. You also can, so if you are going to the testing facility, I think they will print it out for you, but just in case, print it out ahead of time. And in my directions, it says that if you have a formula sheet that has no writing on it, then it is perfectly allowed. If they say, no, you cannot have your own copy, then they will provide it for you anyways. If you are taking the test virtually at home, then same thing will happen. You can print out your formula sheet, and then you'll just have to show it to the proctors that there are no any extra writing on the formula sheet. So print it out in case, but if nothing else, it will be attached as a PDF, and in the testing facility, they will provide it for you. Okay. Okay, so I think that summarizes most of pretty much everything for our introduction. Once again, very importantly, please do be aware of the due dates, especially for discussions, because the discussion due date for that first post is not set up on Ivy Learn. So remember, your first post is due Wednesday. And also, please be, don't procrastinate. Please work gradually, and don't, especially with a project, also don't wait till the last minute to start on the project. Please start on the project as soon as you think you realize that you learned enough information to start working on it. And maybe it'll work gradually as you learn the material, start doing few things on the project slowly, and then continue on as you go. If you need help on the project, just like with everything else, please email me, contact me. We can set up the meeting. I can look at your project, give you some hints and pointers, or discuss what to do. So once again, I'm here available for all of you to help out, but I don't know how to help unless someone contacts me. Okay, so I think at this point, I will stop talking, and please tell me if there are any other questions about anything that I've covered. Okay. If there are no questions, then I will conclude this meeting right now. Oh, there is a quick question. See? Okay, awesome. Ashley, you have a great night as well. You're very welcome. Once again, I'm here to help you. Please tell me how I can help you. Let it be a great semester. Statistics is very exciting. I love it. It will change the way you look at the world. And I will do my best to help you to learn it. Okay, have a wonderful day, everyone. And I will see you online.